There. Post on timeline when you're going live now. Why can't I press it? This is so stupid. Augie's in there. Hi, Augie. What happened? Put the window capture on there. Hi. Still trying to figure out the Facebook number.
Hey.
Oh no, is it live on Facebook? Let me see.
Yeah, live on YouTube.
Oh no, it is live on Facebook, I think. Complete post? What does that mean? I did that.
We're live off. Add group.
I already put that in. I already did that. Audience, no. I want to go live and the button's not working. Please add a live description. Dashboard?
Right there. Take off we're live and
I can't. I put it in now, it won't let me. I'm so confused. It's like so close yet so far. I put it in now, it won't let me. YouTube on Facebook's acting stupid, I guess.
do it from my phone, like I said.
Yeah. Alright, that's not working. We're on YouTube right now. Where'd the webcam go?
August. Huh? You don't have headphones?
I got headphones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't have headphones to sit there?
Yeah, my headphones, it died. Good, no.
Okay, there we go. Guess you're on.
Thank you. Thanks for trying. Alright, so I can't do it on here. Let me get my YouTube. Hold on. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. We're gonna talk about Gene Hackman. Let me going live on YouTube. Come hang out with me. They just released Bodycam of Gene Hackman and his wife. Oh man, it's messing up. Hold on. Come hang out with me. I am live on YouTube talking about different stuff. Come hang out with me. I just said that. Let's chill. I was gonna go live on there, but it doesn't make any sense to go live on there. So let's do it this way. All right. Let's go. This is the new one, entertainment. This is the one I wanted to see.
Everyone knows you need a lawyer after a car accident and injury. But what if I told you here's a better way? One, it gets you more money in 30 seconds without the 40% lawyer fees. Let me show you something that's changing everything.
Tonight, we're learning new details in the death of legendary actor Gene Hackman. Newly released body camera video showing New Mexico sheriff's deputies arriving on the scene and discovering the bodies of the Oscar winner and his wife, and what they heard from witnesses and caretakers at the home. Here's ABC's Zoreen Shah.
Tonight, new body camera video revealing the moments after actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy were found dead in their Santa Fe home last month.
That is so sad. With everything happening and with COVID, every actor, actress is just not here no more, gone. And I was shocked the way he looked. I mean, you turn around, he's 90 something. Like, oh my gosh, I'm 50.
The family's workers shocked. Sheriff's deputies releasing this body camera video, including interviews with a witness and initial fears that the cause of death could have been carbon monoxide poisoning.
I would communicate with her pretty much on a weekly basis. 2.5 weeks ago, that stopped.
Officials later determined that carbon monoxide was not a factor. Instead, Hackman died from severe heart disease with Alzheimer's as a significant contributory factor, and Betsy died a week earlier of the rare hantavirus disease. Officials determining one of their dogs, who was in a crate, likely died of dehydration and starvation. Workers saying they had no...
Minute long. Look where I stopped it.
I know, I seen that too. I was like, really?
It's just too loud. No, the desktop is too loud. This needs to just...
111.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. This needs to come up or something. It's like really quiet.
I was working on it.
Search up like the body cam. That one.
All right, so listen up. State Farm was trying to charge me $197 for car insurance. No, thank you. I got a friend.
We're just trying to squeeze AR. I don't have one on me. I just want to keep this limited as much as possible.
Thank you.
Once this gets out,
Wait, started, right?
wow, this is going to turn with
Oh,
so we got to
it's
figure
already
out what's
on.
going on first. My concern is a carbon monoxide issue.
Brand new body camera video shows us what Santa Fe
hold
County
up.
deputies
All right,
discovered
cool. We gonna
when
watch
they
it together.
responded to the home of Gene Hackman.
Thank you, son. I appreciate you.
One bottom, one on the top floor. German Shepherd's guarding her. Last contact with them was by phone 2 weeks ago with these three individuals up here.
The Hollywood legend was found dead, along with his wife and one of their dogs, launching a mystery that would take weeks to be solved. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
Wow. Thank you, Chris Stewart. Hey, everybody. Welcome back
We
to my channel.
received roughly 20 different files of body camera
Look how
video from the Santa Fe County Sheriff of when deputies responded to Gene Hackman's home. Most of them are from February 26th. All of the videos are from outside of Hackman's house and include conversations that deputies had with the two people who found Hackman, his wife, Betsy Arakawa, and their dog. Here's a conversation a deputy had with the contractor who showed up to work at Hackman's home, found their bodies, and then called 911.
Nobody went in the house, right? Nobody went in? No,
Nobody went
no
in.
EMTs went in.
That was
EMTs were the first ones.
They were
in.
very brief, just
just brief, and I
the
told them
medics.
we we're supposed to go in, and they were like, okay, because I was like, he could be in there, we don't know.
I'm sure he could
I've
be
got
in
a
there.
way to get a hold of his kids, and so a friend of theirs, I got a hold of him. He's got a hold of the lady that's in charge of the estate. And she's saying that she just talked to Betsy a couple of days ago, so I don't see how. But
How? She was gone for like 7 days, right?
Yeah, we will. We're just trying to, because who they are, I don't have one on me. I just want to keep this limited as much as possible, because once this gets out, you know how this is going to turn with the, So we got to figure out what's going on first. My concern is a carbon monoxide issue right now.
Kelly, yeah, she knows.
So I want to have them
Joey, do you want to
test.
come up here? Because I'm going to need help with the dogs, and you can give them this.
So her family is okay. They know what's happening.
I'm making a mess.
Her family. He has a couple of kids. Okay, that from previous.
Right.
They didn't have any kids together.
Okay, well,
We just now found a way to get in contact.
Right,
with
let's
their
just try
kids.
to limit.
Yeah.
Any,
Oh yeah.
I
No,
was
no,
telling
no.
everyone, we were telling the EMT guys, look, you guys, please don't
Yeah.
tell anybody. So anyone that I'm involving is close, because I worked for them for 16 years. Everything is tight.
Yeah, they don't want that information out.
And the bottom line was,
That's cool. He understands.
Don't ever mention our name.
Right.
Privacy was.
No, that's understandable. Like I said, we just want to figure out what's going on.
Oh sure, no, I understand.
Because that's going to be the question.
Yeah, that's what the-
what happened, and we need to figure that out.
He worked for him for 16 years.
But first
It's a long
things
time.
is the safety
It is a
inside
sad
of there.
situation.
Sure, of course,
so-
of course.
Are you going to do a carbon monoxide?
You're having fire come back up.
Okay.
So, but then, like I said, I'm gonna have another detective coming out, and at that point, they'll probably interview you guys.
I heard the inside of his house was crazy.
Yeah, we'll go from there.
Sure.
Okay. So just hang tight.
You can hear deputies were
Like he
concerned
liked
about the
certain
possibility
things,
of
certain
carbon
ways, certain
monoxide
colors, certain
poisoning and
styles.
media attention that would come with
There's like a
news of
room
the
that's like a
A-lister's death. Deputies
theme
waited for a
rooms.
gas company to search the home to make sure there weren't any leaks before they went inside. All the body cam video that we have is from outside the house. Throughout the body cam videos that we received, the people who first found Hackman, Arakawa, and the dog often talked about how private the couple was in their later years. Here's what they said to deputies as they all waited to enter the home.
And that thing's got a big vent that comes out right by the front door. So,
Well, that's kind of where he is, though, right?
by the front door?
Yeah.
Well, no, it comes out through the roof. That big
Well,
vent.
well, it smells like it in the kitchen, though. That's the
Smells
only
like
thing.
what?
There's nothing in the kitchen that will make enough dogs. So the only thing is the range. That's best to check it.
Yeah, I'm like, unless
thing is,
it could
I'm
have been
having
a
heat
slow
flash.
leak for a while, though.
Range ain't gonna do carbon monoxide. The mechanical room, as hot as they keep
But you
that
can't
out,
smell carbon monoxide.
Really,
the mechanical room's got 2-3 big old boilers. Like I said,
that's the one
big
that's
out.
downstairs, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
that big vent you see right by up on the roof by the front door, that thing's like that big around, and so it's meant to vent. And so I just don't, and that mechanical room is pretty damn tight. I don't see carbon monoxide getting.
And it wouldn't leak through any of the kitchen appliances?
Sure, I mean.
Here we go.
Eve Online is a
This
vast
commercial is
universe,
brought to you by
alive
Eve
with the
Online.
unrelenting activity.
I don't see how this is both of them are down like this. Something's not right. And so maybe
Well, that's why it's a little weird. 'Cause
I
you
can't
can
wait to be
smell
like,
it a
welcome
bit
back to my
because,
channel. This episode is sponsored by.
you know, close to where he was, but she's not. So,
that door was open.
right.
Her door was open. They're never open. The doors were locked. The doors were never locked.
One of the stories that we cover here on Law and Crime Prove, it is that life is unpredictable and having a great attorney matters. And that's where we bring in our partner and sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. This is a law firm with more than 1,000 attorneys and a history of winning. Let me run through just so if you're heard in the description.
Sorry, Morgan.
And open.
Do you guys have any like photos or any recent photos of her? By chance?
No, I just seen her go in and out.
Okay.
Maybe that was just thinking about 2 weeks ago. Super bright. Yeah.
You ain't seen her 2 days prior. Wasn't she gone for a few days, he said?
I've heard of the name, but I don't. 32. I didn't think about it for a
If you were
second.
in the 90s, you would have. He was going to think it's movie star.
She's 32.
If I could, like, you know, see something.
Did you see the thing downstairs with Will Smith?
They showed you Eve Online. What's that? Oh, Eve Online. So the other day, when I went to the store for you, Elijah, the guy that's in there, the one guy, he sees my shirt, Aaliyah. He says, "Who's Aaliyah?" I looked at him like, "What? You don't know who Aaliyah is?" The ad, yeah. And he's like, "No, you know I'm not like old school." I'm like, "What? You don't have to be old school to know who Aaliyah is." He's like, "I know who Selena is." I'm like, "Of course you do."
You know, because I always buy vehicles. Yeah, it's time for a brand new vehicle. You know, all the time he would drive by and wave, and her too, all the time.
Yeah.
Every day they'd be going in and out. They seem happy, but they go in different cars.
What time does this lady work till?
They're down there at the gatehouse.
It's a shame because like they're trying to figure out something bad.
She can at least get a last.
And here, it's just a freak accident.
Kind of just look up the last time that they were in and out of the gate.
Probably the 8th February.
What's today?
Last contact I had with her was 2.5 weeks
That's so sad.
We've been working on the fire suppression.
Yes, he didn't even know who Aaliyah was. Horrible.
So you got here and saw that the door was open.
I'm making a mess.
And saw her.
Me and him.
You guys both did.
Yeah, he walked down on that side. Checked the door on that side.
Oh.
He said, "This door is never locked."
That's so sad.
I kept walking, and I seen something laying there. I thought it was animals that she has.
Yeah.
Until I see him, like just buckle up, turn around, and then that's when I see him laying there.
Can you what?
So you said the 8th?
No,
what are you going to know?
The last time I seen her was probably
because it's going to storm.
Of February, going in and out.
Let me see.
Okay. And that's like about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Email I had, I think, was on the 9th.
Yeah.
8th or 9th. It was,
I don't think it's been that long.
No, Bear.
For
Alright, because it's going to storm. It's going to
whatever
storm
happened
today
with
all the
that.
way to
On
today to
February
tomorrow.
26th, the 95-year-old Hackman was found dead in a mudroom inside this $3.3 million mansion in Santa Fe. His wife, the 65-year-old Arakawa, was found in a bathroom on the floor and appeared to have suddenly fallen. One of their 3 dogs was also found dead. That one was inside a kennel of the house. 2 dogs were still alive on the property. Part of what was released by the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office were conversations between deputies and Hackman's daughter, Elizabeth, about what to do with the dog that passed.
Oh.
In that phone call, Elizabeth tells deputies to cremate the dog that was found dead inside the home and to bury it with Betsy Arakawa. The daughter also says if the dog was wearing a collar, to save it for her. She later asked for the 2 living dogs to be passed along to a family friend.
So Elizabeth?
We also have a conversation that Elizabeth had with a deputy on the phone about what to do with the $3.3 million mansion that her father owned in Santa Fe. Told her he does cover his body camera during the conversation on the phone.
The way we do things, you're next of kin. And it's up to you what you want us to do. We're going to try to lock it up the best we can. But my recommendations to you is to ensure that somebody comes and checks on this place at least once a day for a while, because last thing we want to happen is for people that are curious or anything like that to come up here and start taking things that they're not supposed to be taking. I don't think it happened because of where it's located. It's a very secure area, very private community, but you never know either, because A lot of the information that we do at the sheriff's office, unfortunately, is public information, and it doesn't take them very long to figure out where this was at, the address.
My point exactly. They brought this house. They had this whole big property as home. Now they're gone. They spent all this money on this property and land for what? Now it's no going to nobody. It's going to be remain there. All this money that we got to pay just to live. It's ridiculous.
A temporary restraining order. The medical examiner said that Gene Hackman died from a combination of heart disease and
Still not your property.
Arakawa was much younger. She was 65 years old, and a person who arrived to help take the couple's dogs that were still alive pointed out that she seemed to be in great health.
She's super healthy, man. Like, she's a health freak.
Is she?
Yeah.
She never had like any medical issues that you know of?
Not that I knew of, no. She always dealt with Gene. I mean, she always, like, anything that he needed, you know, she'd take care of him. But she was healthy, man. She was acupuncturist. I mean, healthy foods, everything.
Did she ever disclose what medical issues Gene had?
No. I mean, he's 93 years old.
They never talked about having any, like, marital issues or anything like that?
No, they didn't. They didn't talk about that at all.
Did it wrong.
No.
Okay. Anything else that you can tell us?
They were
It's like sour, but it's good.
I mean, they love their, you can see there's toys everywhere around their property. They love their dogs.
The medical examiner found that Betsy Arakawa died of a rare but dangerous.
How old is this girl?
So sad.
This girl is 45.
Oh
so
boy,
yes.
it's gonna be me.
Dangerous infectious disease called hantavirus. It's carried by rodents, and symptoms can be similar to the flu in the beginning. In New Mexico,
was your house
there have
dirty?
only been 156 cases in the last 50 years, but more than 40% of
Was
those
their house
cases
dirty?
are fatal. Just last week, authorities updated the public on the timeline of when the couple died, specifically altering
That can't
when it
just
was
happen right
first
away,
thought
can
that Arakawa passed away. Originally, deputies believed that she died on February 11th, and Gene Hackman lived in the home with her body for roughly 7 days until he died, with the dog passing away from a lack of food and water as it was confined to a cage. Now deputies say Arakawa died on the 12th of February. Phone data proved that she made phone calls to a local health clinic on the day she died to schedule medical care for the disease that she likely didn't realize she had that would ultimately take her life. Deputies believe Hackman died on February 18th. They used information from his pacemaker to break down a timeline. This couple, as we've said, was known to be very private. We hear that multiple times in the body camera video, and it wouldn't be for another 8 days after they passed away that they were found inside of the home. Once again, the case of whether the public will get to see more body camera video from inside of Hackman's home and get more information about what deputies saw that day could be decided next week in a hearing.
I want to see his house.
What could happen to Gene Hackman's $80 million fortune. Entertainment Weekly reports that Hackman left it all to Arakawa,
Ain't that
who
something?
died days
And she
before
left it to him.
Hackman has 3 adult children from a previous marriage.
He left all her money to her, and she left all her money to him.
62-year-old Elizabeth, who was
What
heard on the
happens?
phone call in the body camera video, and 58-year-old Leslie. None of Hackman's kids are listed as beneficiaries in Hackman's will, which was reportedly signed in 2005, according to Entertainment Weekly. And even with the timeline of Arakawa dying roughly 24 hours after what was first thought, that doesn't change the reality that she died before Gene Hackman did,
That's
raising
crazy.
the question of who's entitled to that fortune. Hackman did appoint his former attorney as the person who would be in charge of the trust if Betsy Arakawa died.
that's
That attorney,
crazy.
though, passed away in 2019, so it was passed on to their successor, an attorney named Julia Peters, who is now representing the estate. Betsy's will says
She
if
was gonna
Hackman
donate it.
doesn't outlive Arakawa by 90 days after her death, the estate is directed to be administered to a, quote, charitable trust to achieve purposes beneficial to the community, consistent with the charitable preferences and interests expressed or indicated by my spouse and me during our lifetimes. The attorney representing the trust did file court documents listing Hackman's adult children as heirs to the trust. But again, they weren't listed as beneficiaries in the will signed back in 2005. We know that Hackman's children were not in touch with their dad regularly in his final days, as he's believed to have been dead for a week until that contractor found him and Betsy in their house. But in a statement to People magazine in the days after his death, his two daughters, Leslie and Elizabeth, as well as his granddaughter Annie, said, quote, "It is with great sadness that we announce the passing of our father, Gene Hackman, and his wife, Betsy. He was loved and admired by millions around the world for his brilliant acting career. But to us, he was always just Dad and Grandpa. We will miss him sorely and are devastated by the loss," end quote. In an interview with the Daily Mail, Hackman's daughter Leslie said that she and her dad were close, but they hadn't spoken with him in a couple of months. Hackman's son Christopher, who is now in his 60s, hasn't spoken to the press yet since his father's death, but TMZ reports he did hire a prominent California trust and estate attorney. As for the future of that body camera video that we haven't seen yet, the attorney for Hackman's trust filed a motion to restrict body cam video and photographs. The estate was granted a temporary restraining order limiting the disclosure of pictures or videos showing the couple's bodies and the interior of their home. It also limits the disclosure of autopsy reports or death investigation reports. The trust argued
find out what's happening
have
first.
a right to privacy and placed a lot of value on being out of the public eye in recent years. We'll continue to follow this story as it develops. Around the case, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. We'll see you next time.
Watch this, y'all. I don't want to see this stuff recent. I want to see the old stuff. This house was like decked out. That is crazy that they passed away within a week. Oh. What happened? Oops. Let me tell him. Alright, we're gonna do it. Where is the one? I know you've seen that. Thank you. Where is the one that they were talking about it? A hidden tunnel. Hold up. Huh? Uh-oh. This one? You want to do this one? Or this one? Number 1 or number 2? What? Number 1 or number 2? Which one you want to watch? Wow, this got 1 million views. The FBI raid that shook Hollywood. Gene Hackman's death. Chilling. Ooh. Number 1 or number 2? Let's go with number 2. We'll be right back after this commercial.
A cloud of suspicion surrounds the deaths of Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman and his wife.
When the FBI stormed legendary actor Gene Hackman's $4 million mansion, they expected a routine raid. But what they found sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Hidden beneath his lavish estate was a secret tunnel, shrouded in mystery. But here's where things get even darker. Hackman and his wife were later found dead. Was it just a heartbreaking tragedy, or was something far more sinister at play? What secrets did that tunnel hold? And
ain't
who
no way. I
wanted
want to see
them
inside
buried
the tunnels. I
forever?
want to see literally
Join
inside.
us as we dive deep into this chilling mystery and uncover the truth behind one of Hollywood's most shocking cases.
True.
Gene Hackman's mysterious death. At exactly 11 a.m. on February 26, 2025, the world was stunned as new and eerie details emerged surrounding the mysterious death of legendary actor Gene Hackman. Just when the public thought the case couldn't take a darker turn, authorities uncovered a chilling secret that raised more questions than answers. According to breaking reports from ABC News, investigators had secured a search warrant for Hackman's sprawling $4 million estate in Santa Fe,
$4
New
million?
Mexico, a remote yet luxurious retreat where the Hollywood icon had spent his later years in near seclusion.
It is in
But what
Mexico.
they found inside wasn't just unusual, it was downright disturbing. From the moment FBI agents entered the mansion, a strange feeling crept over them. The scene didn't align with the usual signs of a natural death or even an accident. Something felt off. Subtle traces around the house, moved furniture, unusual scuff marks on the floor, and inconsistencies in Hackman's personal belongings hinted at something far more sinister. But the real bombshell came when agents stumbled upon a hidden passageway concealed behind a section of the library wall. This underground tunnel, completely absent from the mansion's official blueprints, was a narrow, spiraling descent into darkness, leading to an uncharted chamber buried deep beneath the estate. As the agents carefully navigated the damp, cold stone stairwell, their flashlights pierced through the dense darkness, revealing a sight so unsettling that even the most seasoned investigators gasped in disbelief. Beneath the home of one of Hollywood's most celebrated actors lay a vast, eerie underground warehouse, an astonishing relic of the past, frozen in time. Stacks of ancient wooden crates, some covered in dust and cobwebs, lined the walls like a forgotten archive. Some had crumbled with age, their contents spilling out, yellowed documents, rusted metallic objects, and what appeared to be antique artifacts, while others remained perfectly sealed, untouched for what seemed like decades. As the agent carefully reached into one of the aged, dust-covered boxes and lifted the lid, the entire room fell into an eerie silence. What lay inside was something no one had expected, stacks of fragile yellowed photographs. The faces staring back from the images were unfamiliar, their clothing and hairstyles hinting at a bygone era. Some photos captured secret meetings in dimly lit rooms, others showed strange, unidentified locations, and a few depicted individuals whose names have been lost to time. Each image seemed to hold a hidden story, a piece of a puzzle no one had put together until now.
The link you're talking about?
Were old, weathered files bound in cracked leather straps. The pages inside were darkened with age, filled with hastily scribbled notes, records of events that appeared to have been deliberately buried. Some passages were smudged and barely legible, but what could be deciphered suggested a shocking narrative of deception, secrecy, and possibly something much worse. As the agents continued their search, another box revealed a collection of personal belongings. Among them was a vintage pocket watch, its hands frozen at an unknown hour, along with delicate jewelry that looked like it once belonged to someone of importance.
Ready.
But the most chilling find was
Some things are hard to do yourself. Switching to H&R Block isn't one of them. Drag and drop your last return and make...
What if I told you that one of Hollywood's greatest legends spent his final years in this breathtaking Santa Fe retreat? Gene Hackman,
this is the fake one?
The two-time Academy Award winner, chose this home as his private escape, surrounded by nature and southwestern beauty. But now, following his passing...
Well, what I was saying, it wasn't talking about the passing, what's in his house. It was talking about how his house was
But then,
decorated.
The discovery took an even darker turn. As their flashlights swept across the dimly lit tunnel, the beam landed on something almost hidden in the shadows, an old iron door, its surface covered in rust and grime.
An adventure. Would you welcome, please, Gene Hackman?
Oh my gosh.
Hollywood legend Gene Hackman spent
decades
perfecting his 12-acre hideaway in...
The one you okay, the tunnel one.
The one I sent you is showing the inside of the house.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna see this one and then I'll...
Yeah, that tunnel one is just talking about random stuff.
Yeah, I heard they were talking about tunnels, but yeah.
I googled it and everything's...
Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Guys, I have an important announcement about this channel. There is someone trying to take this channel, Famous Entertainment, down and have everything that I've worked in, every secluded retreat where he embraced a quiet life far from the glitz of Hollywood. On February 26th, the 95-year-old Oscar-winning actor was tragically found deceased alongside his wife, Betsy Arakawa, and their dog. Despite this sad twist, local reports indicate no foul play was suspected, and it was due to carbon monoxide poisoning. Today, we're taking you inside this extraordinary home, one that Gene poured his heart and creativity into, transforming
transforming it from a deteriorating structure into a breathtaking sanctuary. Gene Hackman first purchased the Santa Fe property in 1990, drawn to its stunning landscapes and serene atmosphere. The estate sits atop a hill, offering uninterrupted 360-degree views that extend all the way to the Colorado mountains. Hackman once described Santa Fe as having a kind of magic which fueled his passion for restoring and reimagining the space. By 2000, Gene expanded the estate by constructing an additional 2,367 square foot single-family home on the property. This second residence, featuring 2 bedrooms and 1.5 bathrooms, became part of the secluded compound where he and Betsy spent their later years. It's unclear which of the homes the couple and their dog were found in. When Gene first bought the property, the main house was a rundown 1950s block building that had been abandoned and left in disrepair. Determined to bring new life to the space, he enlisted architects Barry Dapple and Steven Samuelson of Studio Architectura to help execute his vision. The transformation was extensive. 90% of the roof was removed to raise the ceilings, flooding the interior with natural light. Walls were torn down to create an open concept great hall with French doors seamlessly connecting the indoor and outdoor spaces. Gene was adamant about authenticity, blending elements of Pueblo, colonial New Mexico, and Spanish Baroque architecture, create a home that felt both timeless and personal. Inside, the home masterfully balances a rustic aesthetic with contemporary touches. Towering ceilings, tree trunk columns, and open living areas create an inviting yet expansive atmosphere.
That's beautiful.
Every room flows naturally into the next, avoiding cramped spaces. The furnishings reflect Gene's worldly taste. Hand-selected pieces from New York, Los Angeles, and even Germany, mixed with locally sourced Santa Fe decor. This creates a space that feels uniquely his own. Plush seats, high-end appliances, and carefully curated artwork complete the look, making the home luxurious and deeply
just live so
personal.
lavish.
Unlike many celebrities,
artwork
Gene didn't just oversee the
stuff just
renovations,
laying
he actively
around.
participated in them. He was deeply involved in
And it
every
goes to
stage, from
nobody. That's
demolition to
sad.
painting. He even mixed his own paint colors to ensure the perfect aesthetic. The architect that he worked with described him as a deeply involved client, very artistic and very keen on details. Gene wasn't interested in following trends. His goal was to create a home that truly reflected his personality. Final result was a barn-inspired retreat, massive, cozy, and undeniably one of a kind. The estate's breathtaking surroundings were just as important as the interior. With its elevated hilltop position, the home offers unparalleled views of
It's
mountains
like
and the
blending in with
desert.
the
Lush landscape gardens complement the rugged terrain, creating a peaceful oasis for relaxation.
Ever wondered what your home looks like from space?
No?
Enter your address and get a 360-degree satellite view of your home.
And entertaining. French doors open onto outdoor patios, making it easy to
fireplace.
transition between indoor and outdoor living. Whether enjoying a quiet
That's so pretty,
morning
but that's the
coffee
old-
1950s structure it once was.
Hey everyone, first of all, I want to say a huge thank you to my 500,000 subscribers. I absolutely love you all, and your support over the years has
Sour.
meant love. But this time, I'm going to be bringing you into my world with personal. I also have ways I've been posting this stuff you come to watch here. Mainly, this is where you're always going to be able to find. You've recently had some hiccups that have affected both life and business. So there's someone trying to take this channel down, like I mentioned before, and I've honestly put so much work into Famous Entertainment over the years. I want to keep my passion for creating content alive and not let the drama or bullies bring me down or affect my ability to work. So we're starting fresh, keeping it real, and I promise you're gonna love what's coming next. So
We can't go wrong with TMZ.
Are you looking to sell your house
Can never
as
go wrong
is
with TMZ.
without the hassle of costly repairs or real?
Let's see what they're talking about.
On TMZ. Okay, we are doing this documentary on the Menendez brothers. So I went over to Home Depot to ask people whether they should get out or not. And I see this dude, Lauren Sanchez's brother. We didn't ask about the Menendez brothers, but we asked about the wedding.
I think it's going to be like a Princess Di thing, star-studded and fun.
This random dude turns out to be Lauren Sanchez's brother.
They do say Home Depot's a great place to meet people.
Because you meet rugged people.
Or you can meet Harvey Levin. So.
We assembled a mock jury for the upcoming Diddy criminal trial, and although we've heard the prosecution got this strong case, it's not a slam dunk.
The one thing that they're gonna clearly talk about is race.
Seriously, 100 dudes, white dudes in LA doing this right now. However, they don't have a 14-page
indictment. It was a remarkable jury, but I'll tell you, the vote is not necessarily what you think.
Suzanne Summers' husband, her widower, commissioned an AI robot twin of her.
Do you have a favorite memory of us? We cannot condone this, right?
Why? I think it's sweet.
Also, he spent how many years with this woman?
42.
You would think he'd want to switch it up. Like, Will Smith had a street named after him. He's on tour promoting his new book, Will.
What's in his book?
His childhood, probably.
I hate the childhood.
You hate
For what? You ain't.
It's ultimately boring. It's like I literally had breakfast with my.
He gonna talk about he grew up in
friend
Philly
from childhood, and we talked about playing dibble dabble in the pool.
Oh boy.
They are a mess.
Everyone knows you need a lawyer after a car accident injury. But what if I told you there's a better way? One that gets you.
And now an exclusive interview outside of Home Depot with Lauren Sanchez.
I don't know who Lauren Sanchez is. Sorry.
So you're Lauren Sanchez's brother.
Don't know who they are. Do you know how Lauren Sanchez is? Did we just watch the whole thing? What the hell? I'm about to go on my Facebook because oh no. Oh. Oh my God, the car just folded. Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
Be careful on Facebook.
Right. Oh. Oh my gosh, this is the earthquake. That is so heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. All right, where's the funny stuff, y'all? Funny. What? Excuse me. Did y'all see that? Wow, that thing was fast. Uh-oh. I'm talking about Ellen DeGeneres, man. That's crazy. Remember the pizza party they had? Remember they were giving everybody pizza in a bag? How many times she handed out pizza? What are they talking about?
Right now. Good. I was hoping you'd say that because I have this crazy idea that I will order pizza, and so if I do, I don't want it to go to waste. Who will eat pizza if I? Jennifer? Yes. Harrison? Yes. Yes. Mark? All right. Too large? What do you think? I'm going to order some pizza. That's what I'll do. So I borrowed Pharrell's hat, and I thought I'd pass it around and get some money for the pizza because nobody ever really. What do you have, Harvey? 200? 200. That's a start. That's a start. Let's see. What do you have, John? Would you have 20? Kevin?
20. That's for you.
Thanks so much. Okay. Guess what? Pizza's here.
Where is the one where everybody was sitting down and they were handing out pizza in a bag?
Come on down.
That
I
was
lied.
terrifying.
We weren't going backstage.
I didn't check out the earthquakes.
So we have just vegetables with like tomato sauce. We have cheese. We have different kinds. Who's hungry? Who's gonna eat on this side? Okay. Cheese. That's a cheese. Yeah. Julia wants cheese. Who's your favorite movie star? They're here. Well, who do you want to talk to? The whole thing? All right. Great. Great. And then I don't have any money. Who here has? Sandy? Where's Harvey Weinstein? Harvey. Harvey. No pressure, only 1 billion people watching. Whatever you feel is right.
Yeah, they got a lot of jokes with that.
Wait, no. No.
I think
what? No way. Oh no, he's missing.
The pizza thing is really weird.
He's gonna miss his ship. Oh no.
I don't think
it's leaving. Oh no, it's already leaving. Oh, I feel so bad. It's. That's his ship. Oh my goodness. What did you just drop? No.
There's no way you can get in the ship. I've seen them lead people.
No way. What? Oh.
That's
oh my goodness, you seeing this?
Wrong ship. Look.
You seeing this? That's horrible.
It's the wrong
That's
ship.
terrible.
Look, watch this thing.
You missed this ship. I feel so bad.
No, that's the ship. Oh my god.
Oh, it's this ship. No way.
Oh, they're gonna talk about him for the rest of the
Bro, come on, you should know where your ship is. Oh, yeah. I actually thought he missed his ship. No way.
We're gonna check it out right now. Thank you, Elijah.
Dear
I
Dr.
appreciate
K,
you.
I used to think I was never meant to be beautiful. You work with them.
Ellen DeGeneres might have had the biggest fall from grace of all time. In just a matter of days, her 2 decades reign as the queen of daytime TV completely fell apart. And despite her self-proclaimed title as the nicest person in show business, there was some clear warning signs as to who she really was. Like when she pressured Mariah Carey into revealing her pregnancy before she was ready.
The other thing is that people are saying that that you're pregnant. There's rumors.
Don't discuss that.
All right. Well, you don't have to.
No, that's okay. No, honestly,
you don't have to answer me. Let's just toast with champagne and decide.
But they've been saying that.
Oh.
The moment came all the way back in 2008, 12 years before the truth about Ellen would really come out. Mariah, like countless celebrities before her, had come onto the daytime talk show expecting some easy questions and some wholesome fun. But instead, halfway through the interview, Ellen ambushed her with questions about rumors that she was pregnant. While the audience were laughing along at the time, it's clear now just how uncomfortable this really was.
Right, she's pouring out
champagne. It's just fattening. So
You can't have champagne?
That's not champagne because you can't.
No, it
have
is.
Is it really?
Yeah. You want to taste it?
I can't believe you did this to me, Ellen.
What? No.
Are you trying
I'm
to
not
just
going to
Putting her on
ask
the
you if you're
spot.
pregnant or
This
not.
is
I'm
peer
just going to
pressure. Do
say.
you see what Ellen is doing? This is peer pressure.
Let's toast to you not being pregnant. If you're not pregnant, then we should.
My goodness.
By doing this, Ellen put Mariah into an awful position,
horrible.
either having to endanger her future child or reveal her personal life to the entire world. It's incredibly abusive and invasive to do this to someone, especially on live television, knowing what happened afterwards. You see, Mariah lost her child later on in her pregnancy, and subsequent interviews showed just how much this moment affected her.
I have my own dog. Actually, she's pregnant. I have 2 dogs. Both.
Well, her
Jack
master
Russells.
isn't.
Her master is. Well, let me take some of the vodka next to me.
Why aren't you answering?
Ellen did that to me and tried to put me on the spot
All right.
with some alcohol.
Okay.
Like
I'm not
real
trying.
alcohol.
I'm trying to put you on the spot.
In an interview a year later on with Larry
What?
King, she's
These
nearly
people
in
are
tears
weird.
from discussing what Ellen did. The wound was still raw. In an interview from 2020 with Vulture magazine, Mariah Carey said that, quote, "I was extremely uncomfortable with that moment is all I can say, and I really have had a hard time grappling with the aftermath. I didn't enjoy that moment." What this did was show that Ellen's actions still hurt years and years after the fact,
That's a
or
shame.
just for a bit of gossip on daytime talk show that people only remember now because of how awful this really was. It's moments like this that make you doubt how Ellen ever got a reputation for kindness, or how she even got started in the industry to begin with.
Money.
In truth, it was a rocky road at first. Ellen began her career and ended it recently as a comedian. For years, she had great success, working her way up from comedy clubs into the mainstream. This gave her parts in films and eventually her very own
Sacrifice.
self-titled sitcom. But in 1997, at the height of the show's popularity, she came out to the world. This was one of the first times this had ever happened with such a big star. And while her bravery was praised by the show business world, it also either caused or coincided with a sharp drop in the show's popularity. It was cancelled just 1 season later. An attempt at a different sitcom didn't work either, and for a few years, Ellen slowly faded out of the public eye. That was until 2003, when she got a role that would restart her career and kickstart her journey back up to the top. In many ways, Dory from Finding Nemo was the perfect role for Ellen and her image. She played the scatterbrained but energetic and upbeat character so well that it felt like it was made for her. And the massive success of this film, especially her role in it, gave her the exact blueprint she needed. Ellen would then take this and synthesize it into a whole new vision for her career, playing a version of this character for the next 20 years. In that very same year, Ellen then began hosting the Ellen DeGeneres Show. Her positive, innocent, and energetic persona cut a stark contrast to the rest of the daytime TV landscape. For years, shows like the Jerry Springer Show had dominated TV with their focus on conflict and taking it as far as possible. But Ellen was seemingly different, with people describing her interviewing style as like talking to an innocent, overexcited 12-year-old, as it gave this impression of a wholesome, harmless show that was easily digested by the masses. But as we find out later on, it was all just a performance. Even before the truth finally came out though, there were a whole lot of hints coming up to this. You see, Mariah wasn't the only celebrity to have negative experiences on The Ellen Show. Over the years, there have been way too many awkward and toxic moments to count.
Why do you deny it? Because we didn't. Oh, okay. So,
as a lot of Ellen's jokes often relied at poking fun at her guests, whoever they might have been. And while most of the time this came off as good-natured banter, sometimes her angles of the attack would reveal the depths of her inner prejudices. Ellen actually often had a go at translators she had.
A question we get all the time is, how do you do culinary school online? And the way we do it is by focusing on
the show, as well as the guests that they were translating for. I mean, just take a look at how she spoke to one translator in this clip.
学会在学怎么弹电子吉他，你还想再学
just one question, just what else does he want? I don't know what you're telling him, but just ask him what I'm saying.
Okay, sorry.
Translation is hard on its own, let alone between a child and an adult in front of a live audience. Then, without any clue as to whether her assumptions are right, Ellen cuts off the translator mid-sentence like she's taking too long. Then Ellen would spend the next few minutes digging further into this joke, finally ending it by saying that she's lost interest and cutting off the kid mid-sentence.
Never mind. Okay.
Hints like these were rare at first. Most of the time on the show, she was being kind, doing giveaways with the studio's money, and just generally reinforcing her on-screen persona.
So you're going through a tough time financially. It's just hard with 4 kids. Why don't I just give you every single thing we gave away on all 12 days?
I know the girl who got that.
It was hard for people to see her slip-ups as anything more than just a bad day. Meanwhile, whenever Ellen made audience members or guests feel small, they couldn't really do anything about it. Her fame and her power over the
kinda glad we didn't go on her show.
combined with everyone thinking that she was this lovely, wholesome person, made her untouchable. It was only sometimes when she had guests on her level of fame that she was ever actually challenged. Ellen's relationship with Taylor Swift was an interesting example. At first, she treated her like any of her other guests, putting childish pranks on her and generally making jokes at her expense. It was after years of these that Taylor and her friend Zac Efron decided to get back at Ellen in possibly the most innocent way possible, by writing a song about it to perform on the show itself. Regardless of how you feel about Taylor Swift, it's kinda satisfying to see Ellen get a taste of her own medicine. She has to pretend to enjoy this while you can tell that on the inside she absolutely hates being upstaged, called out in a way that she really can't respond. The way she's holding onto her armrest so tightly proves how much she's struggling to hold herself back. While all of this might have just been speculation, Taylor's next appearance on the show proved Ellen was definitely holding a grudge. Later that year, during Taylor's next appearance, Ellen decided to probe at a topic that struck a nerve with Taylor for years: her love life. In the interview, Ellen started out by implying that Taylor was dating Zac Efron, who she was just on the show with previously, before launching into a game designed to reveal Taylor's private life.
You were here with your boyfriend Zac Efron last time.
No, I haven't talked to him in a while because we didn't date.
Yes, you did. Why do you deny it?
Because we didn't.
Oh, okay. So, which song is about Zac on the new CD?
There's nothing really about Zac on the CD because we didn't date.
All right.
So,
yeah. Okay. Here's what I'll do. You don't have to say. I'm going to show pictures. Here's a bell, and you ring it.
I don't know if I'm going to do this.
Yeah, you will.
This is the one thing that I have. It's like the one shred of dignity that I have is I know that.
What do you mean one shred of dignity? You're just filled with dignity. Ring it on 3 different guys. We'll narrow it down. So ring it 3 different times. You're supposed to ring.
But I don't want to. I don't want to.
All right, what are you doing?
All the while, Taylor is protesting about how she doesn't want to do this, that it's the last part of her life that's still private, and that it gives a bad impression. It's exactly what she called Ellen out on before, and she's almost brought to tears. It's clearly been designed by Ellen to take revenge on Taylor for calling her out. She's gleeful in how uncomfortable it's making her, while she presses ahead despite how much Taylor is protesting it. Taylor meanwhile knows that walking out would be a massive scandal for the tabloids, so all she can really do is just sit and take it. Whilst these were some of the more famous on-screen hints as to who Ellen really was, there were definitely plenty of others. Over time, they began to add up, and slowly year by year, the illusion began to break. But before we continue, I want to tell you about our video sponsor. Imagine this. What would happen if you chucked your vape from the tallest skyscraper in your city? Well, you might just want to find that out once you've tried Fume. Fume is an award And they had a fake giveaway where people from the audience were told just to
seen
take
this,
one
and
piece
they
of
were
Ellen
taking-
merchandise
the
from a
lady
table.
took a few things,
It was
watch.
all a setup designed to catch someone out. When one lady took something extra
took
for
a
her
few things,
sister,
watch.
Ellen would replay the secret footage of it to the
call her
whole
up.
world just to
seen
shame
it.
her. Then she made her sit in a so-called prison right in front of everyone, away from the main audience.
So before the show, I put out some Ellen products with a sign that said only one per person.
No.
And I just wanted to see how honest my audience was, you know? But we set up hidden cameras just to make sure. I mean, any of you could have taken more than one thing, and you didn't, except for these ladies right here. Listen, I really, I'm sorry. That's embarrassing and everything, but, you know, let that be a lesson to you, because you think... It is. You think nobody's watching you, and you just need to be a good person just because you want to be a good person. You go sit in that Ellen jail over there right now.
Yeah,
Eve
money
to
you
me
could do
is
whatever, huh?
basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can do whatever.
In this scenario, someone did something marginally wrong, and Ellen took her response way too far. But to get on Ellen's bad side, you didn't even need to do anything wrong at all. One time a fan of the show sent in a painting they had made of Ellen and her wife. It seemed to be a lovely gesture born out of how much someone had loved the show. But instead of praising it or treasuring it, or even just ignoring it, Ellen called them out on live TV and made fun of the portrait instead.
And here it is. Uh-huh.
I think it's nice.
Yeah. That's what I said when I saw it. Oh. It's called Ellen and Portia number 10. He took 10 tries, but he finally got it. This is when Portia and I would weave our hair together. We would,
Yeah. Yes, emotion.
It's actually a good portrait of Ryan Seacrest and Kelly Ripa. I may send it to them.
Whenever anyone put a stop to this or tried to outshine Ellen on her own show, she would react very
Narcissistic
strongly.
people.
Some people like Ricky Gervais naturally just showed her up. In a strange trivia game she made him play against her on the show, he beat her both at the game and made quicker, funnier jokes than her. You can see how much this annoys her, but she can't do anything in response because everyone else is also having fun. As time went on, little moments like these slowly led an open secret in Hollywood and show business as a whole. The fact that Ellen was actually not nice at all. It's actually amazing how much
That's
evidence
how it
there is
is.
of
They
this
say the
from
people
just
with
her
that money
on-air
be mean.
performances. In the later part of the 2010s, things only got so much worse for Ellen. While on the surface the show did seem to still perform well, it wasn't where it once was. Years and years of keeping up this character had clearly drained Ellen. She stopped at iconic dancing, brought in guest hosts, recycled content, and just generally put up far less effort into the whole thing. Meanwhile, her ability to keep up the persona had begun to fall apart. Mean-spirited jabs that used to be well hidden started backfiring. In one interview with Dakota Johnson, for example, Ellen pressed her on not being invited to her birthday party. But little did she know that Dakota was already well prepared for this jab.
You turned 30.
I did.
And how was the party? I wasn't invited.
Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen. You were invited. Last time I was on the show, last year, you gave me a bunch of about not inviting you, but I didn't even know you wanted to be invited.
Well, who doesn't want to be invited to a party?
Well, I didn't even know you liked me.
This one clip from 2019 went viral and did major damage to Ellen's reputation, which was already beginning to fall apart at the seams. It also showed the laziness that had taken over the show as well as Ellen's severely overinflated ego. And you can see how much it troubles her as it unfolds. She knows she just got caught completely red-handed, especially as she pulled exactly the same trick last year. By the time 2020 rolled around, Ellen's show was truly on its last legs. When lockdown came, it only upended things even more. Ellen's show couldn't continue as it had. I mean, you can't really sit down with people every day and have a live audience when everyone's in quarantine. But what was much worse for Ellen's career than the lockdown's effects on the show was how she handled it herself. Like other celebrities, she was fully involved in the whole imagined publicity stunt. Then she made posts talking about how she felt like she was in prison, all from one of the many rooms in one of her multi-million-dollar mansions. Just the honest stuff we've already seen should have easily been enough to get people asking questions, but there were also tons of hints based on how she acted off-set as well. In fact, it was these little moments that are likely to have contributed to her downfall far more than what happened in front of the cameras. In individual moments with fans and members of the public, Ellen showed her true colours. Each of these small examples of disrespect weren't enough on their own, but added up, they created an awful career-ending picture. Once this finally broke, it was going to be all over for Ellen. It was in 2020 that these experiences really came into focus, when the comedian Kevin Porter asked people for their negative Ellen experiences on Twitter, offering charity donations in return for each one. And he couldn't have ever expected the massive outpouring of stories he got.
I wonder if
With
that
over
girl that I knew
2,600
when she went
replies
on
and
the Ellen
counting,
show,
it seemed like everyone in Hollywood who had met Ellen had something awful to say. So many things that you can't think for 1 second they weren't based on the truth. To list just a few highlights, there were tons of stories about Ellen insisting that people shouldn't look at her or talk to her. She would not thank or even acknowledge people who brought her things like coffee, or she would just completely ignore the live audience when she didn't absolutely have to talk to them. One waitress who served Ellen and her wife at a restaurant was allegedly insulted by her and shamed for having chipped nail polish of all things. A week later, she was then fired after Ellen strangely and viciously complained about her to her managers. And if that wasn't bad enough, the majority of the complaints came from people who worked on her show. There were numerous reports of a toxic working environment, racism, prejudice, insults, and people would get fired for speaking up, or even just taking bereavement or medical leave. This all got the ball rolling, and from just one Twitter thread, the open secret was no longer taboo. A few months later, BuzzFeed then released information from the first formal investigation of the show. It included far more detail and tons more allegations against the show and Ellen herself. While the reputation of niceness that Ellen had built insulated her for years, it backfired spectacularly once the truth became publicly known. Deprived of the very selling points and idea behind her show and her persona, she was forced to retire. After the allegations, the show carried on for one more tired season. Then it was cancelled, never to return. Now it's worth asking how this could have gone on for so long in the first place though. Fame and power obviously give people their own protection, but it's still a testament to the rot within Hollywood and show business that this could ever happen. Ellen built an entire brand on being kind and open, while undermining people, being rude to people, and treating them like trash the whole time. And it's not even just her, people like James Corden have also had similar allegations. But all of this makes her recent Netflix special all the more insulting, where she still plays the victim and acts like all of this was just overblown. However, these are the same techniques that kept her on the top. Celebrities that came onto the show only to get insulted or humiliated, they couldn't speak out. They're forced to appear on these shows most of the time anyway to just promote their movies or music. Then they have to endure whatever happens just to get some publicity. Ellen took advantage of this power imbalance. If they spoke up without enough proof, then they would be risking their own careers and reputation within the entire industry. Audience members and less famous guests were in the exact same position, only they wouldn't even be heard if they spoke up anyway. Lastly, there were the people working for her who were completely at her mercy. They didn't have any choice at all. Their whole livelihoods depended on staying on Ellen's good side or flying under her radar. It's this popularity contest and these social pressures that enabled someone like Ellen to have so much power and fame in the first place. What's more, Ellen used her immense wealth and fame to become a house flipper for celebrities, and this gave her even more influence in Hollywood circles, perpetuating her career in spite of how awful she treated everyone. This is how she spends her time now. Most recently, she bought yet another mansion in the British countryside, along with a ton of other multi-millionaire celebrities. While she might have lost her show, both Ellen and the forces that created her are still deeply embedded in modern Hollywood. Instead of being a cautionary tale, her story tells us that you can do pretty much anything you like as long as you have enough fame and power. When such a rotten apple can be declared as the sweetest of the bunch, you know there's a much bigger problem at play. And thank you Fume for sponsoring this video. Remember to check them out with the link in the description below.
I took two things that I love, dancing and dogs, and I made them into a successful business. Hi, I'm Ronnie. I'm the owner of Kids Stove, and I teach people all over the world how to dance with their dogs on my website. I was
Steven Linker. That's that guy. Upcharge, baby. Upcharge. I like that dude. Upcharge. Charge everybody, baby. What the heck? Yeah, imagine that. Imagine that. Just imagine. Just imagine. There we go. Look at that. See, I don't have that. Sofrito. Look at that. Achotina. Olives. Chicken. Pepper. oregano. Oh boy, I need to make me some rice and beans. That's how you know it's good. Cover it. That's right. Put the aluminum foil. Cover it. And let it. Don't touch it. 15 minutes. Look how beautiful. Whoa. See, that's why I put the olives in mine. See? I haven't made a baked chicken in a long time. That's what I gotta make. That's sad. Excuse me. What's up, fish stick? How you doing? How you doing? Oh boy, you know what that is. What's this from? What's this from? I was over here on Tubi. No. Why is it on?
All right, so listen up. State Farm.
This is what happens when money goes to your head.
I make $700,000 a year.
You told me about this website. Now I'm spending $58 a month. Full coverage.
All right,
that's saving.
Stop it. What was I looking at? Well, I'm having a heat flash. Lord. Let me take my socks off. Oh, it's crazy. Will Smith, he got a street named in West Philly. What y'all think about that? How's it going, Fish Dad? A couple of siblings. What?
Hey, True Crime Besties.
Evil
Welcome
couple
back to
dubs.
an all-new
What?
episode of Seriously.
5 black siblings for slaves. Murder plot team. What? This is why I say the kids need voices. They put them in these homes and they don't let them have a voice. They believe the adults. No, ask the kids. Believe the kids.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back
I
to
tell
an
my kids, you
all-new
better tell
episode
them.
of Seriously with me, Annie Elise. And you know
You
what
are
time it is.
uncomfortable
You know
in
what
a
day
home.
it is.
You
It's
have the right to
Thursday,
tell
so that
somebody you
means
do not need to be
headline
there. Get out
highlights.
of there.
We have got so
You're in
much to
CPS
talk
already?
about
Tell
this week
CPS. They'll
and
get
what's
you
going
out of
on
there.
right now in the true crime world. I'm talking
Don't protect the
new
bad
cases,
people anymore.
Updates in cases.
Do not.
Sherry Papini, which is a name I never thought I was going to say again. I mean, we just have a lot to discuss, and there is one case that has been at like the forefront of my mind that I not only
I used to
can't
always tell my kids,
escape,
man,
but I
there's
can't
kids that
stop
be locked
thinking
up.
about because it just makes me enraged. Like, if you could see my face right now for the audio listeners, I know you can on YouTube. It just makes me so mad, and it's the case of this couple who adopted 5 black siblings and then literally turned these siblings into their own personal slaves.
What in the
It is
world?
so despicable and so vile. They had cameras
See, people like
in
this,
the
why
shed.
do they have them?
deprived them of like any basic human needs, and so
They shouldn't
I
even
don't know why.
be here.
I've seen a little bit out there
Oh, my
about this
ear.
couple and exposing them, but I felt the need to come on here and like really call
This is
attention to what they did, because it
utterly
is
ridiculous.
some of the more gruesome house of horror type situations that I've personally have ever heard of. So we're going to talk about that case because there is a lot to go over, but I want to warn you, it's definitely not an easy one to hear. We also were going to talk about a nurse in Utah who plotted her best friend of 5 years' death, but it didn't really end up how she thought it was going to. It didn't quite it was taking place or shortly after it took place, but then more around 8 in the morning before the 911 call was made. We, of course, are going to talk about the now infamous selfie that I'm sure so many of you have seen on your feeds at some point or another over the last week, but it's a selfie that Brian Koberger took of himself in front of a bathroom which seems to not have a shower curtain. Many find that interesting because when they searched his apartment, a shower curtain was missing. And in this selfie, he is giving a thumbs up, smiling for the camera, and it was taken at 10:31 a.m. So about, 6 hours after the murders.
I don't know what happened.
Now, the reason that this selfie is now being brought into question, of course, a selfie doesn't prove somebody's guilt, but The reason they're bringing that in as evidence and they want to bring it into trial is because one of the surviving roommates, Dylan, she, remember, came face to face with the intruder, and all she could use to describe what this person looked like was their bushy eyebrows. Since then, it appears in some new hearings and court footage and photos that Brian looks more well-groomed, well-kept. However, in the selfie picture that he took 6 hours after the murders, he does, in my opinion, have very bushy eyebrows. So the reason they want to bring that in as evidence is to say, look, this was right after the murders happened. This was the state of his eyebrows. This is what she can use as like the identifying marker. Saying. Not that that's ever, 100% rock solid or conclusive. But that's the whole reason that the picture is being talked about. Marker, and many find that interesting because when they searched his apartment, a chef's like so deranged and lunatic, secretly plotting for years. She finally made her move. But here's the wild part in all of it, because after months of digging, the authorities just recently made an arrest. So let me get into this case and all of the recent updates. Let's go back to August 12th, 2024, because that's when a call came into 911 from a man who was claiming that his niece was unconscious and that she was struggling to breathe. Now, his niece was 38 years old, and her name is Casey Terry. So he explained to the operator that Casey was suffering from some major health issues. But more than that, and more concerning than that, her nurse, and also coincidentally her best friend, 47-year-old Megan Sudwell, had refused to call 911 because of an alleged DNR that Casey had apparently signed.
Oh, no.
And for those of you who might not be familiar with what a DNR is, or you don't watch Grey's Anatomy, it stands for Do Not Resuscitate, and it's a document that a person who is terminally ill can sign, or even not terminally ill, but something that you can put in your healthcare directive, in your will, or in your estate planning, where it basically says that whenever their time comes, nurse best friend Megan would not let them get near Casey to help her. She explained to them that Casey had terminal cancer, and again, she had signed that DNR. However, while they were at the scene, one of the paramedics saw a diabetic needle, which to them was a huge red flag almost immediately. So then when they saw that, they pretty much kind of just said, like, screw this, we're taking her to the hospital regardless of what you're saying. Like, something weird is going on here, right? And sure enough, once Casey arrived, they noted that she had dangerously low blood sugar levels. According to NBC News, her blood sugar was at a 14, when even just 40 is considered dangerously low. The weird thing, though, is that Casey was not diabetic. So the hospital tried doing everything that they possibly could do to save Casey. But sadly, she ended up dying 3 days later, at just 38 years old.
No way.
Now, there were a lot of questions surrounding Casey's death, but the autopsy report would later emphasize just how suspicious all of it was. It showed that Casey's cause of death was an overdose of promethazine, and it was also noted that the specifics were, quote, probable insulin or other drugs. So that in and of itself was huge, right? But it also showed that Casey had never even had cancer. In fact, she didn't have any medical conditions.
Oh my
she was completely
gosh, she was
healthy. And on top of this autopsy report coming back with these, bombshell findings that she had a clear medical history, no cancer, all of these things, it also came back saying there was absolutely no DNR on file anywhere. She never signed a DNR. It was all made up. So what the heck really happened?
The best friend. Do I just hit the stop right now, Elijah? All right, y'all, I need a little break. I might get back on in a little while. Thanks for hanging with me. But yeah, I gotta go do some things. Love you guys.